Your life might not need a new habit. You might not need another book, another time management app, or another motivational speech. Maybe what you actually need is subtraction, eliminating relationships that only exist out of habit, eliminating the need to explain every decision, eliminating the comparison of your life to edited images online, eliminating the commitments that drain you but lead you nowhere. Many people try to change their lives by adding more goals, plans, and responsibilities. But they don't realize that a full cup cannot hold any more water. Sometimes to move forward, you have to quietly set down the things pulling you back. No arguments, no announcements, no permission needed. In this video, we are going to explore 12 things you should quietly eliminate from your life. The first thing might seem harmless, but it can cause you to live years of a life that doesn't truly belong to you. Thing number 1. The need to be liked by everyone. Trying to please everyone gradually strips away your ability to live according to your own values. The desire for acceptance is a natural need. But you cannot build an honest life if every single decision has to pass the test of what will other people think. No matter how kind you are, someone will misunderstand you. No matter how hard you try, someone will be unhappy. When you live to avoid disappointing others, the person who ends up disappointed the most is ultimately yourself. You take on extra work even though your schedule is already overloaded. You agree to attend a gathering even when you genuinely need rest. You stay silent when someone crosses your boundary out of fear of being seen as difficult. Every small decision like that slowly teaches others that your time and limits do not matter. Practice not answering requests right away. Practice saying the sentence, "I need to check my calendar." Say no concisely without over-explaining. Accept that other people's disappointment is not always your responsibility. Evaluate decisions based on values, not on how likable they will make you. You don't need to become cold. You just need to stop betraying yourself to keep everyone else happy. Thing number 2. Relationships that only drain you. Not every long-term relationship deserves to be maintained forever. The signs of an energy-draining relationship are that they only reach out when they need something. Every conversation revolves around their problems. They constantly dismiss your feelings or success. You have to watch every word you say around them. They make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. After spending time with them, you feel exhausted instead of supported. Eliminating them doesn't necessarily mean cutting them off in anger. Sometimes you just need to reduce the frequency of meetings. Stop sharing private information. Step out of repeating arguments. Stop playing the rescuer and allow the relationship to naturally drift further away. Not everyone needs a long explanation of why you are stepping back. You have a friend who constantly calls to complain. You always listen, give advice, and support them. But when you face struggles, they quickly change the subject or vanish. That is not a two-way support system. That is a habit of using your emotions as a free resource. Observe how you feel after every interaction. Stop responding instantly to every demand. Set limits on time and how much you help. Stop trying to fix someone who doesn't want to change. Dedicate more time to relationships built on mutual respect. A shared history is not a good enough reason to sustain a relationship that is destroying your current peace. Thing number 3. The habit of comparing your life. Comparison makes you judge your entire existence based on a curated highlight reel of someone else's life. You feel like a failure after scrolling social media. Judge your progress by someone else's age. Feel your achievements have lost meaning. Want to change your goals simply because you see someone else doing something different. Constantly check someone else's achievements, income, or appearance. You are usually comparing your behind the scenes with their stage performance, your hard days with their best moments, your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 10. Comparison can sometimes provide useful information. But when it leaves you paralyzed, envious, or directionless, it is no longer motivation. It has turned into sabotage. You are making progress in your career. Then you see someone your age buying a house, traveling, and achieving massive success. Instantly, everything you've built seems small. Not because your life got worse, just because you suddenly changed the yardstick. Limit following accounts that constantly leave you feeling dissatisfied. Compare your present self with who you were 6 months ago. Write down your small weekly progress. Focus on goals tailored to your own circumstances. Turn jealousy into a question. What is it about them that highlights something I actually want? You are not falling behind. You are just running down a path that doesn't share the same starting line as others. Thing number 4. The need to explain every decision. You don't need to turn every personal choice into a courtroom trial for approval. You write long messages explaining why you're declining an invitation. Feel compelled to defend all your goals. Argue with people who refuse to understand. Try to force family or friends to accept all your changes. Feel insecure when others disagree. Explanation is necessary when your decision directly impacts shared responsibilities. But many people explain things not out of necessity. They explain because they crave validation. When someone has already made up their mind to misunderstand you, giving them more words won't help them understand. It will only exhaust you. You decide to skip a gathering because you need rest. Instead of saying simply that you cannot attend, you start listing your entire schedule, your workload, and your emotional state. You are subconsciously asking for permission to take care of yourself. Use short sentences. I won't be able to make it this time. This is the right decision for me. I understand you don't agree. I don't wish to discuss this further. Then stop talking. The people who respect you don't need a long presentation. The people who don't respect you won't be convinced by one anyway. Thing number 5. Commitments that no longer fit. A decision that was right in the past does not have the right to dictate your entire future. You stick with a project just because you've invested too much time. Hold on to a burnout-inducing job out of fear of starting over. Stay in a group that no longer aligns with you. Chase old goals even though you've changed. Keep every promise even when your circumstances have completely shifted. Human beings often get trapped in sunk costs. We think I've spent 3 years on this, so I can't stop now. But lost time cannot be recovered by wasting more time. Persistence is a virtue when a path still has meaning. When a path is wrong continuing down, it isn't persistence. It's fear. You pursue a career because you once believed it was right. Years later, you realize this work no longer connects with your values or the life you want. Yet you stay simply because you're terrified that changing direction means failing. In reality, changing direction can be the ultimate proof that you are growing. Evaluate every commitment with 3 questions. If I were starting over today, would I choose this? Is this commitment creating value or just generating guilt? Am I continuing out of meaning or out of fear? You are allowed to change your mind once you gain new information, experiences, and maturity. Thing number 6. Unconscious content consumption. You cannot build a focused life if your mind is constantly fractured by short-form content and endless microstimulations. Grabbing your phone the moment you wake up. Scrolling mindlessly without knowing what you're looking for. Opening apps simply because you feel slightly bored. Consuming countless self-improvement videos without taking action. Struggling to read work or converse without checking your phone. The issue isn't just lost time. Every time you switch your attention, your mind needs time to cycle back to the original task. Dozens of minor interruptions can cause an entire day to pass in a state of busy work without accomplishing anything meaningful. You might consume a mountain of information while doing less and less independent thinking. You open your phone to reply to a single message. 20 minutes later, you are watching a completely unrelated video and cannot remember what you originally intended to do. This doesn't happen because you lack intelligence. It happens because platforms are engineered to capture your attention for as long as possible. Practice keeping your phone away for the first 30 minutes of your day. Remove distraction apps from your home screen. Set specific times to check social media. Turn off non-essential notifications. Keep your phone out of the bedroom. Replace consumption time with reading, walking, or a creative task. You don't need to know everything. You need enough silence to utilize what you already know. Thing number 7. Pointless arguments. Not every wrong opinion requires your correction. You argue with strangers online. Try to convince people who refuse to listen. Repeat the same arguments within relationships. Feel a compulsive need to have the last word. Waste hours defending viewpoints to people who don't matter. Some dialogues help both sides understand each other better. But there are also arguments that are simply competitions to prove who is right. When nobody is listening, adding more words doesn't create truth. It only creates noise. You do not need to win every debate. Sometimes winning looks like realizing an argument isn't worth a single second of your time. Someone leaves a provocative comment. You reply. They twist your words further. You spend your entire evening arguing with someone who won't even remember your name tomorrow. You don't regain any respect. You just hand them your attention. Before responding, ask yourself, does this person genuinely want to understand? What is the best outcome of this debate? Will this matter a week from now? Would silence protect my energy better? Silence is not always a loss. Sometimes it is the ultimate sign that you have stopped giving others control over your peace. Thing number 8. Unnecessary clutter. A chaotic environment silently breeds mental fatigue without you even realizing it. Clutter can include unused clothing, broken items you haven't thrown away, hundreds of unorganized files, an inbox full of unread notifications, a calendar choked with too many appointments, a to-do list without priorities, and items kept purely out of guilt. Every unprocessed object represents a pending decision. Every unread notification is a subtle demand. Every vague task is an open loop burning background, CPU, in your brain. A simplified physical space won't magically solve all your problems, but it drastically cuts down the number of competing signals fighting for your attention. You sit down to work. Your desk is cluttered with bills, old coffee mugs, charging cables, random papers, and unrelated items. You tell yourself you're used to it, but your brain still has to expend constant energy filtering them out of your focus. Apply 3 questions. Do I actually use this? Does it hold practical value or deep personal meaning? If I didn't own it, would I buy it again? Each day, clear or organize a tiny area, a single drawer, 1 folder, 10 emails, an app folder, or a block of your schedule. You don't need to own the bare minimum. You just need to stop letting unimportant things occupy space meant for what matters. Thing number 9, living in the past. The past can serve as a teacher, but it should never become your home. You frequently replay old mistakes, obsess over what you wish you had said, compare your present life to the good old days, hold on to resentment toward people no longer in your life. Define yourself by an old failure. Believe the past has permanently written your future. You cannot rewrite yesterday by thinking about it 1,000 more times. Useful reflection leads to lessons or fresh action. Repetitive dwelling only recreates the same negative emotion without changing reality. Letting go doesn't mean what happened didn't matter. It means you refuse to let it steal another minute of an unwritten tomorrow. You experienced a painful breakup. Instead of learning how to communicate and set better boundaries, you conclude that nobody can be trusted. One old experience takes the steering wheel for every future relationship. Extract the exact lesson from the experience. Separate what actually happened from the dramatic story you've built around it. Stop checking the digital footprint of people who belong to the past. Apologize or make amends if you still can. Seek professional support if lingering memories disrupt your functioning. Bring your attention back to what you can do right now. Your past explains a portion of who you are. It holds zero authority over who you get to become. Thing number 10, artificial busyness. Being busy is not synonymous with making progress. You spend all day answering emails without finishing vital tasks. Endlessly plan without pulling the trigger. Sit through excessive meetings. Jump back and forth between multitasking. Constantly feel drained without knowing what you actually produced. Use minor chores to dodge difficult work. Many tiny tasks offer a quick hit of completion dopamine. Meanwhile, truly important work tends to be difficult to start. Lacks instant gratification, demands high focus, and carries the risk of failure. Consequently, you unconsciously default to busyness to escape the discomfort of real growth. You want to launch a project. Instead of creating the first rough prototype, you search for the ultimate productivity tool. Reorganize your notes, watch more tutorial videos, rewrite the master plan, or design a logo. You've done a lot, but you haven't actually started. Every morning define, if I only accomplished one thing today, what would move the needle the most? Then do that task first. Block out uninterrupted focus time. Limit yourself to a strict maximum of 3 priorities daily. Grade your day on output rather than exhaustion. Stop asking how many things you crossed off. Ask if what you did brought you closer to your goals. Thing number 11. Relentless self-criticism. Beating yourself up doesn't automatically equal discipline. More often than not, it simply drains the exact energy you need to transform. You routinely call yourself lazy, stupid, or a failure. Turn a single mistake into a verdict on your entire character. Deny yourself permission to rest. Believe you have to hate yourself to stay motivated. Fail to acknowledge progress. Treat yourself with a harshness you would never direct at a friend. Responsibility and self-attack are entirely different. Responsibility says, I messed up, I need to fix this. Self-attack says, I messed up, that proves I'm fundamentally broken. The first leads to action. The second breeds shame avoidance and repeats the cycle. You miss a workout. You might say, I fell off plan today, tomorrow I'll scale back the goal and jump back in. Or you say, I'm just fundamentally undisciplined. The latter turns a momentary slip into an identity label. Describe the behavior instead of insulting your character. State clearly what needs adjustment. Detach errors from your intrinsic worth. Acknowledge micro-progress. Treat yourself with honesty and respect. Never use self-hatred as fuel for achievement. You can demand excellence from yourself without despising who you are today. Thing number 12. Waiting for the perfect timing. Many lives don't collapse because of a wrong choice. They stall out because people wait far too long to begin. You wait until you feel fully confident, until you have more money, until life calms down, until you own better equipment, until you feel motivated, until the plan is airtight, until someone validates your idea. Confidence rarely precedes action. Real confidence is forged after you take the plunge, encounter friction, and realize you can adapt. The perfect window in time is a myth. The moment one obstacle clears, another invariably takes its place. Momentum begins the moment you accept starting under imperfect conditions. You want to write a book, but you're waiting for a completely free month. That month may never arrive. But if you write 300 words a day in a year, you'll have over 100,000 words. Life isn't changed by a single flawless day. It is shaped by ordinary days deployed correctly. Break goals down into their smallest possible components. Set deadlines to begin, not just deadlines to finish. Allow your first draft or attempt to look messy. Act before you feel ready. Measure progress by repetitions, not by how certain you feel. You don't need to see the entire staircase. You just need to stop standing frozen before the first step. You don't need to eliminate all 12 things in a single day. Sustainable change rarely starts with a grand announcement. It usually begins with a small decision that nobody sees. You stop replying to a pointless debate. You decline an invitation that doesn't fit. You delete an app that steals your focus. You set down a goal that no longer belongs to you. You stop explaining. You start before you feel ready. Nobody claps, nobody notices. But each small choice creates room for the life you actually want. You don't need to announce that you are changing. Let your peace, your focus, and your results speak for you. Out of these 12 things, which one is draining the most energy from your life right now? Drop the corresponding number in the comments below. Then choose one small action to start eliminating it today. And if you enjoy simple, practical videos on psychology, discipline, and personal growth, make sure to subscribe. Sometimes improving your life isn't about learning how to add more. It's about learning how to live better with less. It's that simple.